Good morning and welcome to CSIR STEMIFLIX Career Corner, which is proudly presented by the CSIR Annual Career Day. Also, we're celebrating the National Science Week under the theme Science, Technology and Innovation for Everyone. Welcome and thank you to our guests for joining us. Guests, you will introduce yourselves, tell us what you do at the CSIR and also which department or division you belong to, a summary of your background, your professional background. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, so my name is Dr. Sudhakar Muniyasamy. I'm a principal researcher. So I belongs to the CSIR chemical cluster. So my area specialization is basically on the bioplastic and biodegradable polymers. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, my name is Mashidura Togwa. I am from CSIR Smart Mobility under the Transport Systems and Operation Cluster. We basically just find ways to move people smarter, more efficient, safer, and yeah, better.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Precious Maduma. I'm a cybersecurity specialist. I'm from the Defense and Security Cluster. So what we do, we basically develop, implement, and protect different systems that help us keep safe on the internet. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Vishara Ramdas. I'm from the CSR Bioprocess Development Group in the Chemicals Cluster. So the focus that we look at is the development of bio-based products. So looking at the development of natural products from fermentation. And yeah, we do a lot of innovation. I have a microbiology background. So yeah, we do pretty exciting stuff with microorganisms.
Thank you for that introduction. Just to get into a bit of what you do, right? What did you study?
So my background is on chemical sciences. So basically I'm trying to understand the basics of fundamentals, the chemistry and the biological science, how I can link to apply to the industry. That is basically.
And did you always know about the field? How did you find out about it?
Yes, so when I completed my master's, I'm very clear what I'm going to do. I want to become a scientist, so I started to learn about how the lab research and how the technical skills are needed, how the industry works, and what are the value chain that I need to cover. So I well planned for my what I'm doing.
Thank you for that. You mentioned transport and safety. I just want to find out what piqued your interest about it. In high school, did you imagine transport and safety, or how did it go about?
Funny enough, in high school I wanted to be a doctor, then an archaeologist. But how I got to find out about transport engineering and transport research was through becoming a CSIR barrister. So when I came for vacation work, when I was still doing my undergrad in civil engineering, I then got exposure to the industry, and that is why I'm here, because I feel like it's an industry that is quite niche and not so many people know about it, and I don't want another child to wait until varsity to know about it like I did.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's beautiful. I mean, coming in as a barrister, doing vacation work, and finding out that actually this is what I'm interested in. I'm really glad. I'm happy to hear that. So, for you, if you were a learner, or if you were to encourage a learner, what would you tell them so that they pursue science?
What I would advise them to do is just that they need to have curious minds, because I will refer them to my field. In cybersecurity, you need to be curious. You need to be able to ask questions, because it's an evolving space. So some other things you won't know, not unless you ask. So they need to be curious. They need to be persistent. If something fails, try again. It's gonna work. Yeah.
Oh. And lastly, how has your work in the STEMI field changed or improved your life and the lives of others?
So I think because the focus on a lot of what we do is to improve the environment, improve human health, improve the way we our habits. And I think, that transition from using synthetic to bio-based, it's going to be a transition, a slow transition, but it's definitely going to improve one's life, improve our environment. So I think, for me personally, making those adjustments myself first in order to teach is also important, and I definitely did see an improvement.
Thank you for that. Now, diving into projects that you are all busy now working on, right? Doc, I'm going to start with you. Just tell us about the project that you're working on now and what it aims to achieve.
Yeah, so our project is basically developing a sustainable plastic. So basically to address the global plastic pollution issues. So we are trying to find out what are the sources that are abundantly available within South Africa and locally, that is agricultural biomass waste that can be potentially utilized to make some sustainable plastic and biodegradable product, and that can address the problematic plastic pollution issues. So that is exactly we are developing it.
All right. And he mentioned that you're working together now. I can just pick it up. But what has been the most challenging thing about your project?
So I think, collaboration is not always easy, but when you have such great scientific minds come together and address a problem, you're definitely taking it 100% and you're getting to a solution quite faster. So we're fast tracking to there. So I don't foresee or I don't see any issues, but we're coming from different expertise, and I think that's important, is that, we're not from the same. Dr. Sudhakar is in chemistry, I'm a microbiologist, so, that merge will fast track a technology, for example.
All right, thank you for that. We are pushing, driving forth into moving from pollution and clearing out the space rather. And with climate change, how it's affecting our world, understand that it's not just weather, it's actually a consequence of our action in pollution, contributing to pollution. Thank you for that. And just to round it off, besides this project, what is your favorite scientific discovery of all time?
So when I started off at the CSIR, I worked on my PhD project, and the most mind-blowing part of my project was the development of a biostabilizer, which was microorganisms producing a certain polymer that was able to stabilize a road base or road. So the fact that, to explain that to a structural engineer was, it was incredible, because, it was such a novel concept, and we took it to a technology readiness level of 6. So yes, it's definitely been exciting and something that still drives my passion for science.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. And coming back to you, what project are you working on, and what does it do or aim to achieve?
The project that I'm working on is the Transport Safety Lab. So the Transport Safety Lab has different softwares and devices that can actually track human behavior when driving. So by that, we're trying to see what can be done on a human behavior side to eliminate road crashes and fatalities. So what actually happens is a driver can drive under simulated conditions, environmental conditions such as rain, snow, and we can see what can be done to improve that.
All right. And what is the result that you're aiming to achieve? I see that yes, it's road safety, but are you aiming to achieve less accidents on the road? What are the fatalities, some of the fatalities that this technology can prevent against?
So the aim is to prevent fatalities and also prevent serious injuries within roads. As researchers and people in the transport field, we do understand that accidents cannot be eliminated completely, but we just don't want them to kill people or to hurt people. So that is what we aim to do with the Transport Safety Lab.
All right. And is it open to everyone who has a license and is
So right now, because we are actually in the data collection process of different simulated scenarios, we can actually have people come, but it has to be booked beforehand. But yeah, it's very open, and you can also actually learn more about your individual driver behavior.
Thank you for that. And what has been the most challenging aspect of completing this project?
The most challenging aspect has been when we are working with the baseline, we don't actually have much data in South Africa. So collecting that and also making sure that the data that we collect is quality data that will actually give us a holistic picture. Yeah, that has been the issue. But with our colleagues, we've been working, and government has also been helping increase exposure to the Transport Safety Lab so that we can have more people coming in and actually having simulated driving.
All right. And how long did it take to conclude this project?
The project is still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. Do you maybe have an idea on when it will be completed?
Because of the nature of the project, I don't think completing it it's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's an ongoing thing, and as we continue researching and continue with the project, we might tie in different areas of the in the field. Because right now we researching things that like eye movements in the road, and so we might just add different things to actually boost the findings.
All right, thank you for that. And one last one. Besides this project, what is your favorite scientific discovery of all time?
When she was answering, I was trying to like, I might just say Wi-Fi actually, because being able to just connect and connect, whether be it for work or be it to connect with family, just being able to connect to the web, because it's a very powerful tool.
Powerful tool that is at the tip of your hand.
Yes.
And coming to you, tell us about the project that you're working on, what it aims to achieve or what it has achieved.
Okay, so we're working on different projects, but for now I will talk on the Veristic mobile application, so which is a contactless fingerprint scanning device.
Tell us more. How does that work?
So instead, because you know the traditional devices for fingerprints, you have to press in your fingers and all of that. So with this one, you just take a picture using your normal phone. You take a picture, and then the pictures will be extracted from the fingerprint. And then, so yeah, what we are aiming to achieve with that is that firstly, it's easily accessible. You don't need a lot of hardware for it to use it. And also to factor in the concept of hygiene. Yes. So instead of putting it on your finger, you just take a picture, so you don't have to come into contact with any viruses or anything like that. Yes. And also, I believe this one will help more, should I say, schools or clinics, especially in rural areas. Yes, because advanced technology is very rare that side. So with this one, it's easy to move around. You don't really need a lot of hardware.
All right, thank you for that. And what has been the most challenging aspect of completing this project?
One challenge that we had was the fact that for the accuracy of the picture, of the fingerprint, yes. Because remember, we need to factor in the lighting, the resolution of the mobile camera. So yeah, so getting that to work was a bit of a challenge, but yeah, we've managed to make it through.
All right, so you mentioned that the blurriness, accuracy of it. How did you then mitigate these challenges? And I understand that it's an app, is that correct? So is it supported by all devices?
For now, we are on Android. Yeah, we haven't moved to iOS. So at the moment, it's just only Android. And also, we've noticed that for it to take a greater picture or quality picture, it needs to be a camera with a high resolution, not just any phone. Yeah.
I believe that IAS would do great in that
Yeah,
department.
definitely.
And what has been the highlight of this project that you will treasure for a while?
Whew. It's gonna bring a lot of change,
Yeah.
I would say, because I believe in terms of hygiene, it will reduce the type of, should I say, cases of people catching viruses or diseases based on people's sweat and all of that. Yeah, and also, it's a good evolution because I don't think it's going to stop now. There are more features that can be added on the project. So, yeah.
All right, thank you for that. And how long did it take to conclude the project?
It's still ongoing.
Yeah.
It's still ongoing. There's a long way to go, but there's light. We see the progress. Yeah, we have already started testing, so yeah.
No, thank you for that. And the last one is, besides this project, what is your favorite scientific discovery of all time?
Biometrics. Because when I joined CSIR as an intern, the first project that I was introduced to is biometrics. So for me, I only knew facial, which is the eyes. And then when I got here, I got to learn about this. We can do finger biometrics using our ears. And then now we have the contactless fingerprint. So yeah, that one will be.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Just two last questions now. You're going to list out all the subjects that you did in high school, matric in particular, right? And you would then advise our viewers why they should study STEM or choose STEM careers. What's that?
So basically, whatever the subject they're studying, basically they need to learn is like, the technical skills. It's not only, studying, just, getting higher mark and everything. So this technical skill, it can give opportunity, what you learn, and especially any field, like any engineering or science or whatever, the skills that you are going to apply in the field. That will give, it can be anything like you can become a scientist, or it can be an industry manufacturer that can give a job opportunity and create. So that kind of skills, that is very, very crucial rather than just getting the degree, that aspect. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to them, or what encouragement would you give to our viewers to study STEM subjects?
Yeah, basically, you must have interdisciplinary knowledge. So that will give you a lot of opportunities. So that where you want to pursue, that you need to understand the whole kind of like, even though if you need a skills of engineering and science, that also need to be merged. That is, you need to see, you need to be focused what you want to be. That what are the skills you need to observe, that you need to see, that you need to learn.
Thank you, Doc. And that's on top of planning and knowing what you want, going to search for those skills and acquiring them. Thank you so much, Doc. And ma'am, the subjects that you did in high school, particularly in matric.
Okay, it was mathematics, physical science, life science, and geography.
And if you were to encourage a learner right now, encouraging our viewers, why should they study STEM subjects and the career, going to the STEMI career?
Careers in STEMI are fulfilling. They give you a purpose. It's not only about money, or you get money. But yeah, that's why I will advise, if you really want to make a change, really study STEMI. And what I would advise is just study actively and plan, because if you fail to plan, you
Plan to fail.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So money is good.
Yeah, but
money is good. Precious subjects that you studied in matric.
I did the same subjects: mathematics, physical science, geography, and life sciences. Yeah.
Any advice to our viewers? Encouragement why they should study STEMI subjects and venture into STEMI careers?
STEMI subjects or careers, when it comes to them, the good thing is that this is evolving era that we are in. So there's no way that we can ever run out of innovations or ideas to improve the lives in our communities or even ourselves, individuals. So what I will say is that you also need to have passion, because if you don't have passion, you will get bored. You will not be motivated. You won't be creative. So yeah, you need to have interest in whatever that you want, because the careers, they are broad. You can choose any career that you want. You can actually cross, what should I say? What's the word I'm looking for? Actually, what I'm saying is that you cannot focus only on one topic or on one career. You can do other careers while you're doing the other one. So either way, they will always work together. There's always something in common that they have. So yeah.
All right, thank you for that. So the field of science is broad enough for everyone, including you, right? And lastly, Doc, please tell us subjects that you studied in matric.
Very long time ago, but science, mathematics, biology. So those are my core subjects. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. I guess it's a different format now.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the subjects.
And an encouragement to our viewers on why they should study STEMI subjects and why they should venture into STEMI careers.
Okay, well, like my colleague mentioned, the world is changing. It's becoming very dynamic. So in order to innovate and keep up with it, STEMI is the direction that you should go into. It's if you want to know and you're curious and you have a passion and drive, definitely go into the fields of science and mathematics. It's going to help with the evolution and really ensure that you make an impact. So yeah, that's my advice. If you want to know how something works, STEMI is the way to go.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you guys around. But you at home, don't go anywhere, because we are coming back with the second cohort of the Brilliant Minds of CSIR. Stay tuned.
In March 2024, a South African Air Force Hawk fast jet took to the skies near Cape Agulhas. It was carrying a new locally developed technology that could help aircraft defend against attacks. These flight tests were the culmination of work that began in 2019 when Armscor tasked the CSIR to assist local small business Sistel with integrating its new pod with the Hawk aircraft.
We were brought in to help Sistel integrate a pod on the fast jet. It's something they hadn't done before. From the beginning, we were supporting them in understanding the fast jet environment, develop the specification, integrate the store on the aircraft. There was some redesign that was required, and we supported them with that.
So everything from optimizing of the external mold line, using CFD tools and aerodynamic analysis capabilities, and all the system engineering background that the team here at the CSIR has, we're able to provide that to them, help them get the pod onto the aircraft. The tests that we conducted at Air Force Base Overberg were intended to serve as clearance flights for the integration of the ACE pod onto the Hawk. So we had previously done all the systems engineering and all the analysis beforehand, and now we needed a physical demonstration that the two systems were compatible.
As part of the process, the CSIR developed a new generation of young engineers, which turned out to be a great learning opportunity for all involved.
So one of the goals with integrating a store onto an aircraft is to ensure that it's safe. Don't put the crew that's operating the platform at risk. And that task of ensuring that it's a safe integration is a cumbersome task. It can become burdensome for a single SMME to take that on their own. But with the CSIR, we have extensive resources and capabilities that can assist any party that's trying to do that.
Another small engineering firm, Midnight Aerospace Solutions, partnered with the CSIR to overcome challenges.
One of the major challenges is getting out there and getting such big contracts just on your own, whereas having a larger organization such as CSIR, it also helps with that branding to say that, you know what, we have the support and the trust of such an organization, and with the collaboration with them, we're able to produce something much more valuable and much more unique, catered to the user's needs.
The CSIR has a particular interest in developing SMMEs in the aerospace sector. The organization has significant capabilities in this field, and it's mandated to share these capabilities and grow the sector. In a first for Africa, researchers are screening cancer tissue samples to find existing drugs that could be repurposed as effective chemotherapies for people of African descent.
When I first heard about drug repurposing and also actually setting up a tumor growth facility where one can really personalize chemotherapeutic drug choices, I was actually really excited, because the drug repurposing is a fantastic way of re-looking at existing drugs and also affordable drugs to make them work for us in a new way. We then certainly thought that this will be a great partnership because, of course, the basic scientists need tumor to actually work from. And of course, we have no laboratory facilities or laboratory experience at all. So almost all patients with pelvic cancer, uterine and ovarian cancer, will then first actually have surgery. So they'll have an operation which is either diagnostic and we take biopsies, etc., or if possible, we will remove the tumor.
So if a patient consents to participate, then they undergo the surgery and their biopsy is donated to the study. When the surgery has been completed, they store the sample in a fridge that is in the gynae oncology unit to then go through to Steve Biko and collect the specimen and bring it to CSIR. So for each patient, we're able to screen 88 drugs and identify through a viability assay which drug is more effective for that particular patient's tumor and the cells that we isolated from that patient biopsy. The number of clinical trials being performed in cancer in Africa is almost zero. There is big paucity of data from the African continent. So we are coming from a drug repurposing approach where from the drugs that are in the market, are we able to identify drugs that are more effective in our population? So you cut down the drug discovery process from a 7-year process to a 3 to 4 year process, because these drugs have already gone through the efficacy and toxicity studies. They are approved drugs, but they're not used in cancer.
The ultimate goal is to actually be able to analyze the tumor fresh while the patient is also still waiting for histology and recovering from surgery. We have about 4 to 6 weeks before we need and can actually start with chemotherapy. So during that time period, we would ideally want to actually find the correct drug mixture for that specific tumor. That will be our ultimate goal. So once we actually reach that, we could even use non-chemotherapeutic drugs and drugs which are usually at the moment used for another purpose, like an antibiotic, etc., and combine that with an existing chemotherapeutic drug, because we will then know that for this specific tumor, that is going to be the effective combination.
So we're coming in and trying to bridge that gap, Can we perform the research that is needed for these clinicians to be able to make better decisions to aid the patient outcomes? So we want to give these patients options.
8 out of 10 foundation phase children cannot read for basic meaning in their home language. So literacy is a bit of a crisis in South Africa, and we need scalable and reliable solutions. Language technology could potentially help relieve that problem, and we've decided to apply our technology in this domain to solve some of that. Peladi Nakene is in Mamelodi, so it's close to the CSIR, and we've been piloting at the school since the beginning of this year.
Ke khonne ge ba fitla mo Peladi ke khonne o lemoga gore di tablet tse ba re tliseditseng tsona di khona go thoma ka modumo ngwana o khona go tseba ge mmotsa gore khotla modumo wa a wa khotla modumo wa a e khona go dira gore ngwana a lemoge gore le ntšule ke le beile mo le lokile go ba aowa.
Because it's important to understand whether this application is actually working for them. It doesn't help us if we develop technology and in principle or in theory it could work, but it doesn't really translate to the real world. So we brought the tablets here so that the kids can actually use the application and she can tell us how it's been going and whether it's been working for her or not. Also, her feedback in terms of what's not working is really valuable because that allows us to improve what we do. So we've used picture dictionaries from the lexicography units of South Africa to develop the words that are in the application, and we use our natural language technology to generate sentences using those words that are grammatically correct and make sense.
I-automatic speech recognition wenza ukuthi umuntu ekwazi ukufunda igama elibhaliwe bese umshini uyakwazi ukulifunda njengoba linjalo bese ulisende ku back end bese liyascore kunikeza iscore ukuthi wenze kahle noma wenze kabi.
The application has a few different kinds of activities, and it's been gamified to some degree to encourage learners to engage with the content. So they can listen to automatically generated speech in 2 of the languages. So either that would be their home language or the target language, which in this case would be English. Sometimes they listen to Sepedi and they have to reconstruct in Sepedi. That's simply just listening and reading. But there's also the meaning component where they have to listen to maybe a Sepedi sentence, understand it, and then also understand the English words that are popping up that they need to reconstruct the translation, or the other way around.
Ke mo modi o thomang ko teng wa go ruta bana mo go baleng di tablet tse di thusa bana ba rena gore di thoma ka re thoma go ba ruta ka medumo go bane he ngwana a tseba modumo o tlo khona go bopa mantšu go ba kaone gore a khone go ba bobebe mo go yena gore a khone go bopa mantšu ga bopile mantšu o khona go bopa mafokwana ale a khone go mo thusa gore a bope mafoko a matelele a kwishisagalang a na leng matlakogedi.
And lokho ngibona kuyigebe elikhulu noma there's a big gap kumele siyivale ngalokho, and lama tools sesiwakhandile ngiyakwazi ukuthi siwa deploy bese bayasebenzisa emaklasini ekwazi ukuyehlisa le gebe elikhona.
We are currently in the 3rd year of a 3-year project that is sponsored by the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture towards this literacy development support. So we are hoping to make a difference in South Africa in this literacy space, and we've chosen a few languages to start off this project with, but we are really hoping to get more funding so that we can roll this out to more languages and more schools, because we really think that our technology could potentially make a difference in this very important and strategic issue of foundation phase literacy in mother tongue education.
Re leboga ba CSIR gore ba tlile ba tlo re bontsha gore ga se ka puku fela le technology ya khona go ruta ngwana go bala le go ngwala le go kwishisha.
In 2009, I joined CSIR. From there, we developed SOCO, Southern Ocean Carbon and Climate Observatory. When I was within SOCO, we developed these trace metal facilities, trace metal in the ocean, and I became an expert in that field. I also brought that expertise to government, and we still collaborate with SOCO. And the skills that I got from there, it made me who I am today, and I can apply all the knowledge and skills that I learned from SOCO anywhere in the ocean.
So Tatu and Charlie joined us really on in SOCO's trajectory. I think it was in phase 1. SOCO has been around, the Southern Ocean Carbon and Climate Observatory, for just over 10 years now, close to 13 years. And at its inception, at the time, South Africa didn't have an ocean climate research program, and we didn't have the infrastructure to be able to address those challenges. We needed a new generation of scientists who could face the challenges of the biggest problem in our 21st century, which is that of climate change. Understanding the role of trace metals iron and how that interacts phytoplankton in the Southern Ocean was a key component of SOCO's research, and it's very difficult to measure a trace metal on a metal ship. So Tatu had a long learning curve with all of us on how to do the measurements accurately, to collect trace metal chemistry, and then to interpret the understanding of the chemistry of iron with phytoplankton. And phytoplankton, like trees on land, when they photosynthesize, they capture CO2 and they remove it from the atmosphere, and when they sink, they take that carbon with them.
I had to build or develop sampling equipment techniques. We built a torpedo fish, we call it a torpedo fish, that we use to collect seawater samples. While the ship is steaming, we deploy it on the side of the ship, collect samples while the ship is steaming, and then we collect them into the lab, and then we do the sampling from there.
So in our phase 1 of SOCO's strategy was to set up the infrastructure and the capabilities to make these measurements and observations, and there was a lot of technological innovation in that space. So we started a robotics center and CO2 observations, trace metal, satellites, remote sensing, to be able to address the challenges of the role that the Southern Ocean plays in buffering the impacts of climate, and very importantly, how sensitive those roles are to a changing climate and to the forces that are impacting that Southern Ocean going forward into the future. The Southern Ocean takes up 50% of the ocean CO2 uptake and 75% of the heat that's being generated by the excess CO2 that remains in our atmosphere. So it's a disproportionately more important ocean when it comes to buffering the impacts of climate change. And South Africa has a real geographical advantage to being able to access that Southern Oceans. And so all of our students will have the opportunity to go on the SA Agulhas, to go to the Southern Ocean, to Marion Island, Gough Island or Antarctica. And it's during those expeditions that we deploy our gliders, but also that we do a lot of process studies. It's also the ability to use those robotics and high resolution modeling and machine learning data products that we're generating and satellite observation. So all this big data and cutting-edge technology is how we train our students to be extremely capable, not just as ocean climate scientists, but also to be able to take those skills of gathering large data sets, interpreting them, coding, and taking that skill set to further their career and other areas that might be valuable. We are trying to take that learning and drive it more towards societal impact. And that's primarily being done through improving our models and our modeling capabilities. By improving the models, you can improve your predictions of climate, and that can feed directly back into society through effective policy around adaptation and mitigation. But of course, we're also benefiting society through the generation of highly skilled and capable scientists. We are now about 7 staff, but we've graduated, I think, close on 80 students now. So we've got a really big HCD program.
Within government, we're focusing mostly along the West Coast, trying to understand the impact of climate change there. With the skill that I got from SOCO, I'm now applying it in a way that the outcomes that we produce gives advice to the fisheries and the community along the coast. Because for government, you're more like, they call it batupili, people's first. You serve the community before you can do anything.
Farming itself is very stressful, so you'll want to have something convenient on your cell phone, monitoring even when you're not around the farm.
The Ilima application is part of our end-to-end logistics, in which we are connecting small-scale farmers with the other actors along their value chains. So this includes the material suppliers, raw material suppliers, that include the feed suppliers, and the chick providers and those that provide animal veterinary medicine. We are also intending to connect them with the abattoirs and they are normal clients, especially small-scale farmers which sell to live markets.
From day olds, we monitor the temperatures, feed intake, different feed type that would be used at that particular week or days. And we do check mortalities every morning. We've created a record sheet of every second hour, checking the water reading, the temperature or the mortality. So that helps us to keep track of the overall production until market. When we were doing the recording, it was manual. So with CSIR, we partnered into creating the Ilima app, where all the paperwork recording is now in the app. And we feel like it's one of the greatest innovations.
What I find really important is the input that we get from farmers, because those are the end users of the product. And of course, they are not experts when it comes to software development, but they are experts in what they do.
The app itself, it moves with you from the beginning up until to the last chip in the farm, and also tracking on the delivery of certain stock. If they've received, well, you are able to have your workers reporting to you while they're still at the scene, and you get a notification for that. So that makes the business part of agriculture much more efficient. The back and forth discussion with CSIR was to ensure that they are simplifying the app language to better understanding of small-scale farmers, so that even when I'm just selling to an ordinary woman in an area, they are able to just say that out of your 500 stock, this one sells and this one was not looking good.
The most outstanding feature on the application is the opportunity that we have given farmers to monitor the activities remotely. Farmers are not always on the farm. They have to go somewhere to look for feed, to look for funding, attend training workshops. But while they are there, the application gives them an opportunity to assign tasks to whoever is at the farm, and they can monitor if that task is completed. So there is evidence that is attached to each and every task that has been completed. In the application, we also have embedded blockchain technology, and the reason
Welcome and thank you for joining us here at the STEMIFLIX Career Corner. I hope you did not press the channel or change the channel and you're still tuning in, because we still have some great minds from the CSIR who are going to tell us more about science, what they do, how it's impacting you and the community, and myself included, and why do they do it? How did they get into science and why did they get into science? Our guest will introduce themselves right now, telling us their names, what they do, which cluster or division they're from. So.
My name is Nduzo Malenga, and I'm a senior software developer from the Next Gen cluster at CSIR.
Hi, I'm Ishante Smith. I work for Smart Mobility, specifically focusing in accelerated pavement testing.
Hi, and I am Magera Malova, and I'm a chemistry intern within the IKS program based in the agro-processing, and I also contribute to product process and development. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Vivi Pasha. I'm a senior researcher at the CSIR Advanced Agriculture and Food, with my main focus on cosmetic science research.
Thank you so much. Now that we are acquainted, could you please tell us more on the summary of your professional background?
Well, for me, I am a mechatronics engineer by qualification, and I moved into software development at a later stage.
And why the move? What inspired the move?
The move was just based on growth. Fields of science, the great thing about them is you don't always have to be stuck in one place. You can always grow into another role.
All right, and how did you learn about the field that you're currently in?
Mainly through gaming from a young age.
Yeah.
That got me interested in software development. And also, I'm a big fan of science fiction. So I think it's cool that we get to make fiction into reality.
Thank you so much for that. And one last one for this round. How has your work in STEMI and the STEMI field changed or improved your life and the lives of others?
Well, currently at the CSIR within the Next Gen cluster, I'm working on a project called the EMP Law, and this will allow medical records to be used electronically and accessed electronically. So that's one way it can help improve people's lives.
All right, thank you so much for that. Ms. Smith, please tell us more about what inspired you to go into the field of science.
You know, when you drive around and you see a very cool building, or you know, you admire a bridge or something, and I just really wanted to one day drive around with my children and tell them, I helped to build that, or I helped to develop that. You know, it's just that legacy and pride, just to give that over to a new generation and just show them that I helped build the country and help build civilization. So yeah, that was my main goal.
I love that. Now, could you please summarize your professional background?
Yeah, so I have a pretty long one. I pretty much remained in STEMI, all the time. I've always loved maths and science. It was my favorite subjects. I started out studying and finishing a BSc in zoology. Yeah, I wanted to change the planet, save the world. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I decided, well, with that degree, I wasn't able to achieve any of those things. It was very difficult to find funding in that type of research. So then I saw a need where I should actually combine development with saving the planet. Because people will continue to develop. We will continue building houses because we need them. We will continue building roads. So then I decided to rather fall into the civil engineering focus, and then actually combine the two in trying to create a green world where humans and the environment can work closely together. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. It seems so interesting. And how did you learn about the field that you're currently in?
So that I got through the bursary program. So that was very nice. I didn't know something like accelerated pavement testing even existed. It didn't come to mind. So when I got into the bursary and started in my first year at the CSIR, I was introduced to all of these different fields within civil engineering, and the pavement section really called to me, and especially the APT testing that I do.
Oh, thank you for that. Mr. Makera, please give us a summary of your professional background.
Well, mine for now is just sweet and short, but then I'm hoping for it to be a bit longer, as the years goes. So I'm currently holding a diploma in analytical chemistry, which I did at the Tshwane University of Technology. And I'm currently en routing on to getting my degree for the same qualification, analytical chemistry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how did you learn about this field?
It was through career exhibition when I was still in my matric. So we had a career exhibition, same institution where I graduated at Tshwane University of Technology. So through that, and then they were giving us prospectus, had to go through, but then my interest was just in science. So and then as I was scrolling through the prospectus, and then I just came across this analytical chemistry. And then from what I read through the prospectus, then I was like, this is what I want, especially with regards to me. When I was still in high school, I was a big fan of chemistry, Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that. Ms. Pasha? How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Please tell us about your summary, your professional background summary.
Okay, quite a diverse background. I started out right after my matric from Maths and Sciences. I did my chemistry. I was very curious, interested in mixing things and coming up with something. That was my own, so that's what made me go for chemistry. And then I joined the CSIR as an intern. So when I got here now, there's more projects happening. Now I'm placed in the natural plant group and I'm looking at things that would come out of plants. You know, it was very fascinating. And then I expanded. I studied further. I did my honors in formulation sciences. I did a postgraduate diploma on cosmetic science, and then my master's was in medical sciences, and I'm doing my PhD in medical sciences. So, but all of these are linked because I'm coming up with solutions for skin and hair care problems, and we're working with the rich biodiversity of South Africa, where we look at the plants and, you know, add value to them and come up with problems to address such challenges and, you know, skin and hair disorders. Yeah.
As you are speaking, I'm thinking when I used to watch shows in high school, I would see people mixing chemicals, and I thought that's all it was to it. And now you're still mixing chemicals from extracted, what are these? Extracts from plants to fix our skin and hair challenges that we may have. This is super cool. It's like when I grow up, I want to be this, and now you've achieved it, right?
Yes.
Great. And how did you learn about the field of cosmetics?
So the field of cosmetics chose me because when I came here, I was just a chemist, you know, with no experience. And then we have projects that now our supervisors are bringing projects to say, okay, this is what you're going to learn now in cosmetics. But now I realize that I'm now relying on what are we mixing, what are we adding, you know. So that's when I decided to enroll now for cosmetic science, and I got the depth and, you know, the knowledge. So it chose me, and I found that I'm so in love with it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. It does highlight that science is interlinked and intertwined. All our guests, except for Mr. Makera, of course, but we'll see in the next coming years if he will then dabble into the different fields of science. Thank you about that. And what, sir, what do you think is the key success in science?
The key success in science for me personally is to improve progress for everyone. So whether it's by reducing the suffering of people or improving infrastructure, but overall for me it's just more improvement. I think that is like the broader goal of science for me.
Nice. And please tell us about a project that you are working on right now and what it aims to achieve.
So one thing that we are aiming to achieve on the team that I'm working on is interoperability within our within our healthcare system. And that interoperability is for the ability for a digital system to make use of real-world resources like documents or medical records. That's why the project that we're working on is called an electronic medical record, an EMR. EMR. Yeah.
And how does this, as you've mentioned that it does want to help in bringing science into the real world, applying it to your documents, for instance, right? And now, how will it affect our communities in the long run? Why did you see that it was important for this project to come into effect?
Well, my supervisor was the one that found that it was important. I didn't have much to say. Yeah. But I think it's important because it makes healthcare services more accessible to the broader public. And also it just improves the efficacy of our existing healthcare infrastructure.
All right, thank you so much for that. And what would you say has been the most challenging aspect about the project?
Yes, there have been many challenges, and some of them have been dealt with by my team and some by me personally. But the main challenges for me would be the resources that existing hospitals have across the country. we are still working very hard to try fix those problems. Lack of technological resources, so that the general public can reap the benefits of interoperability.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Ms. Smith, please tell us more about the project that you are working on currently and what it aims to achieve.
Okay, so I work with a very large vehicle that was developed by the CSIR back in the 70s. There's only about 17 of them sold worldwide by the CSIR, so we still get a lot of royalties from that. We're very, very happy. But what this machine does is it runs on top of a new constructed road for 24 hours, 3 months, no stop. After that, we can tell you what the road will look like after 20 years worth of damage. So I can tell you what layer has failed, what the failure mechanism is it rotting, is it cracking, whatever the reason is. And then from that, we create the standards for which this material is used in field. Now, what we're currently doing is we're looking at new and innovative materials that are coming out, green materials, materials that will make road building so much cheaper. And I'm using that machine to test the durability of these materials and then sending it to the right authorities to write the standards so that we can start implementing them in South Africa. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that. And
that's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. And how will this project then affect our communities in the long run?
So I think the standard is yeah. I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but at this point it looks like about 45% of South African roads are paved. The rest are all gravel. And that is a major problem for a lot of people, for children to get to school, for parents to get to work. There is just no proper infrastructure. The major problem is the municipalities don't have the money to upgrade these roads or even maintain the roads that they already have. So by doing these types of projects and especially focusing on materials that are going to reduce the price of roads, road construction, we can help the community and the municipalities to get these roads upgraded quicker and stimulate economic growth within areas that don't have it.
Thank you so much for that. And what has been the highlight of this project that you treasure for what?
Yeah, for me it's the nitty-gritty things. It's like seeing the actual thing, surviving, because we have comparative tests usually with a standard design, and then the other side has the new design, and then seeing the actual change in the standard one failing, and then this new design just like flourishing. For me, that is just makes me so happy.
Thank you so much for that. Ms. Dankara, tell us about the project that you're working on currently and what it aims to achieve.
Okay, so the aim is, what we are aiming to achieve is to develop products from medicinal plants which can help people with asthma or other related respiratory diseases. And yeah, as you know, within the projects we do come across some challenges, but then with the progress that I'm currently seeing, we're definitely getting there. Yeah, so the project is on the African ginger, which is also known as the wild ginger. Yes, yeah.
That's great. And now, how will this project then affect communities in the long run?
So as I've mentioned that I'm involved within the IKS, which is the Indigenous Knowledge Systems. So we mostly collaborate with communities. So we do community engagements, because these are the people who are owning this knowledge of indigenous plants. Yes, so our aim is to have a positive impact on these communities by offering job employment to our youth. As someone who grew up within indigenous communities, especially within those deep villages, You know, like I understand like the struggle, you know, especially if like you don't have like much information. So it's more like giving back to the community. So with their, we are using their knowledge to give back to them.
That's great. And what are some of the challenges that you faced in implementing this project?
Quite a lot of challenges that we faced, but then we were able to overcome most of them. Okay, actually, in fact, all of them, as I've said, that the progress does show that we are actually heading to the aim of the project. So, you know, as researchers, like we go through what we call contamination, you know, like the plants being contaminated, you know, then now we have to figure out how this contamination got through your raw plant material. Is it from the raw plant material, or how you were preparing in the lab, you know, all those kind of things. But then at the end of the day, we were able to tackle all those challenges, and yeah, it's moving perfectly. Yes.
Well, Ms. Vivi?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us more about the project that you are currently working on now and what it aims to achieve.
Okay, I'm working on multiple projects. However, all of them, they are to develop new cosmetics or cosmeceuticals from plant material. We are working on the cannabis plant, and we are working on the aloe rocks. So it's quite diverse projects that we're working on. However, we're coming up with new products like your creams, your face washes, your toners. So we work with enterprises, small to medium, and some are startups, some have been in the industry. However, we are assisting them with improving their products, but they all come from natural material, which is your plants. So I'm working on those ones.
All right, thank you. That's fantastic. And what are some of the challenges that you faced in these projects that you're currently working on?
Okay, firstly, we work with people, and our enterprises come to us. They are already selling these products. They come to us saying, I need you to improve my product. And when you look at the ingredients that needs to go inside the formulation, some of them, they would be interacting with one another. You know, the matrix now is not really that stable, so you have to understand the formulation of the science behind the formulations. That's what I wanted to say. So it's quite challenging. Some are reacting with one another. You get to struggle to come up with a stable product that's going to be safe and effective, you know. So it really takes a lot of reading, and also a lot of the need to be innovative, because as you walk into shops, you can just look at the cosmetic shelves. They are so full. So there's a big competition that you need to be innovative. So innovative is the main challenge. I have to sit and think of something that is new, you know, and you are thinking, what can I do? Because this client wants a unique product to cater for her specific, you know, client. So it's challenging. It's from the stability issues, from the innovation part of it, and all the way to agreeing with the client as to this is the product that I came with. Sometimes they make them in their own kitchens and then they bring them to us. And when we started at a kitchen and me using lab equipment, the product comes out different. It's no longer that color, it's no longer the texture, because I processed with lab equipment. And now you are saying to me, but I gave you my product green and now it's off-white. What's happening? You know, so we have to interact with them, try to show them that this is the end product. Until the approval stages, we just interact with them until the end.
Communication, and more communication.
Yes, that's true.
So we've spoken about the challenges, but what has been some of the key highlights of some of the projects?
Okay, so my first highlight is we work with a lot of people, a lot of communities, and we ensure that when they leave the program, if they are incubated with us, they are happy with their end products. And we managed to incubate a lot of SMMEs. And currently, we last year on its own, we incubated more than 23 SMMEs.
Wow.
They left the program with more than 40 products that are now currently launched in formal markets. So we make sure that we see our projects to the end. So yes.
Thank you for that. So now a set of we are now speaking to our audience, to our viewers. What subjects did you study in high school, particularly in matric?
For me, because I started off in engineering,
yeah,
I studied physics, IT, and I'm struggling to remember the other one because it was such a long time ago. But I chose the closest available subjects to STEM fields, basically, because yeah, I had an interest in those from a young age.
Yeah, so I had maths. You have to have it.
Yeah.
When I got to STEM, yeah. Then science, biology, and just to get my mind off the things and relax a bit, I had art. So I was just like, no, that's enough. Science, I need some place to just unwind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for me, yeah, as you mentioned, for me, also maths. Well, we used to call it pure maths. Yeah, the champ, because during those high school times, everyone was just complaining about it. When you talk about pure maths, and then now people are like, hey, no, I'm not going there. And then I was, yeah, and then I also had life sciences. Well, for life science, I don't want to say much. I was not really like interested into like life science stuff. And then I also had geography, and then also I think it applies to life sciences. Like I was not really like into it. And then there was physical chemistry, which composed of chemistry and physics. And then mostly my interest was onto chemistry. Yes, and then hence I decided to pursue this analytical chemistry qualification.
All right, Ms. Vivi?
For me, I did mathematics, I did physical sciences and biology and the languages. So I'm not sure what they call biology now. I think it's life sciences, isn't it? Yes, I did that one. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for that. Then our two last questions, right?
Yes.
Besides your projects, you're working on amazing projects, really innovative, and but besides those, what are your favorite scientific history discoveries of all time? And also one last one would be for our viewers, what would you say to encourage them to pursue STEMI subjects and STEMI careers?
Okay, well, for me, I'd say when we're talking about my favorite scientific discovery, it would have to be the microwave. And it's not because I'm slightly overweight. It's because it was discovered on accident. So they were working on radar technology to improve its range.
Yeah.
And they altered something called a magnetron by increasing its surface area. But as they were testing it, there was the inventor actually had a chocolate bar in his pocket. And he discovered while he was testing the radar, what was supposed to be a radar, that the chocolate had melted. And he essentially discovered a microwave.
Ah, nice.
I'm not sure if he was okay though.
Probably not long after that.
And yes, is that the question?
Yes, that's. Thank you for that answer. But why should our viewers choose to study STEMI subjects and pursue STEMI careers?
Oh yes, so I think, for me, I'd say think about all the good you can do in the world. I think that would be good. I think that's good motivation, and it's a good reason to pursue any STEM field.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Okay, so for me, it would be completely left field. It would probably be the discovery of penicillin. I think, also an accident. I think most scientific discoveries are accidents. And because of it, we live longer. Our lifespan has increased substantially because of it. Then I think people need to go and study STEM, one, because they pay well. Yes. Don't forget that part. Because you're going to need that in your mind when you go study it, okay? When the exams come and everything, just remember that paycheck at the end of your struggles.
You work for it.
Yeah, you do work for it, yeah. But it's 100% worthwhile. If you have a curious mind and you like discovering new things, STEM is 100% the thing you need to go and do.
For me, it would be Lamarck's discovery for the law of use and disuse. Okay. Yeah. So I don't actually really remember how the whole law came into, but then honestly, I'm still curious as to how we had to discover. Say, I'm calling this law a law of use and disuse. So it was in such a way that they said that the more you use something, the more it becomes effective. Then for disuse, the more you don't use it, then how can it be effective? Yeah, so that was that. And then the other question was on the STEMI. Yes. Yeah, so I think for me, it would be that it offers a wide range of career opportunities, and then, as a person, they also need to have that passion for science, for according to me. And then in the context of medicinal plant research, I think they have to be familiar with what the indigenous communities do, understand their culture, all those things.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, for me, it's really a motor vehicle. I'm sitting, I'm thinking, so we could be walking from there to there had it not been that. So yeah, I'm just fascinated by the person who, yes, imagine the old way of transport. So I'm just fascinated by that. And then for STEMI, I'm thinking it really takes hard work for you to stay in the field even, perseverance, hard work, and ensuring that you have a curious mind. So yeah.
All right. That is it with our guests. Thank you for joining us. Do not move, do not go anywhere, because we still have amazing minds from the CSIR, and we'll be telling you more about the opportunities that are offered at the CSIR. To you, though, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
In March 2024, a South African Air Force Hawk fast jet took to the skies near Cape Agulhas. It was carrying a new locally developed technology that could help aircraft defend against attacks. These flight tests were the culmination of work that began in 2019 when AMSCO tasked the CSIR to assist local small business SISTEL with integrating its new pod with the Hawk aircraft.
We were brought in to help SISTEL integrate a pod on the fast jet. It's something they hadn't done before. From the beginning, we were supporting them in understanding the fast jet environment, develop the specification, integrate the store and the aircraft. There was some redesign that was required, and we supported them with that.
So everything from optimizing of the external mold line, using CFD tools and aerodynamic analysis capabilities, and all the system engineering background that the team here at the CSIR has, we're able to provide that to them. help them get the part onto the aircraft. The tests that we conducted at Air Force Base Overberg were intended to serve as clearance flights for the integration of the ACE part onto the Hawk. So we had previously done all the systems engineering and all the analysis beforehand, and now we needed a physical demonstration that the two systems were compatible.
As part of the process, the CSIR developed a new generation of young engineers, which turned out to be a great learning opportunity for all involved.
So one of the goals with integrating a store onto an aircraft is to ensure that it's safe. Don't put the crew that's operating the platform at risk. And that task of ensuring that it's a safe integration is a cumbersome task. It can become burdensome for a single SMME to take that on their own. But with the CSIR, we have extensive resources and capabilities that can assist any party that's trying to do that.
Another small engineering firm, Midnight Aerospace Solutions, partnered with the CSIR to overcome challenges.
One of the major challenges is getting out there and getting such big contracts just on your own, whereas having a large organization such as CSIR, it also helps with that branding to say that, you know what, we have the support and the trust of such an organization, and with the collaboration with them, we're able to produce something much more valuable and much more unique, catered to the user's needs.
The CSIR has a particular interest in developing SMMEs in the aerospace sector. The organization has significant capabilities in this field, and it's mandated to share these capabilities and grow the sector.
The history of cannabis and our forefathers, it was a medicinal product before it became a recreational product. It could do your textile materials, it could do your medicines, it could do your clothing. So it was stigmatized to be a bad thing, and over time we forgot that it's actually a beneficial plant. We started with our products, what we would like to formulate. I chose the body butter. The formulation was actually researched and produced by the CSIR. And what it does, it will help you with your skin issues, your eczema, your stretch mark reduction, dry skin or oily skin, depending which butter you buy. They processed the oil, they processed the formula, they packaged it for us. They did some trials for us as well. Now our product is shelf ready.
Greenhouse Village is one of 23 SMMEs that we have supported with regards to cannabis processing for extraction as well as product development. What we do is that we remove the THC from the overall cannabis extract in order to increase the concentration of the CBD. So all of the products that come out from the development of the CSIR are zero THC. We also assist the enterprises with providing them with certificates of analysis. We also give them a product information file which contains all of the tests that have been conducted in order for the SME to be able to meet those requirements that your retailers require if they would like to have your product on their shelves.
The CSIR has saved me a lot of work. We used to process it ourselves, which was a bit tricky because we are processing from a small space. We are not licensed. So now we can literally farm our material, make sure it's pest-free, make sure it's pesticide-free, and then we deliver the raw material to CSIR.
You'd have to buy equipment that could cost you over 5 million in order for you to be able to conduct the kind of research that we do and to be able to develop the kind of products that we develop at the CSIR.
So from an extraction perspective, now that the program is almost at its end, I can come back to the CSIR and actually get the service. And what we pay as SMMEs is actually quite minimal compared to what you'll pay in the private sector.
What we would like to see is more enterprises being able to exist in a very highly regulated market with the purposes of increasing employment and alleviating poverty so that we can be able to assist in developing the South African cannabis market.
In March 2024, a South African Air Force Hawk fast jet took to the skies near Cape Agulhas. It was carrying a new locally developed technology that could help aircraft defend against attacks. These flight tests were the culmination of work that began in 2019 when Armsco tasked the CSIR to assist local small business Sistel with integrating its new pod with the Hawk aircraft.
We were brought in to help Sistel integrate a pod on the fast jet. It's something they hadn't done before. From the beginning, we were supporting them in understanding the fast jet environment, develop the specification, integrate the store and the aircraft. There was some redesign that was required, and we supported them with that.
So everything from optimizing of the external mold line, using CFD tools and aerodynamic analysis capabilities, and all the system engineering background that the team here at the CSIR has, we're able to provide that to them, help them get the pod into the aircraft. The tests that we conducted at Air Force Base Overberg were intended to serve as clearance flights for the integration of the ACE pod onto the Hawk. So we had previously done all the systems engineering and all the analysis beforehand, and now we needed a physical demonstration that the two systems were compatible.
As part of the process, the CSIR developed a new generation of young engineers, which turned out to be a great learning opportunity for all involved.
So one of the goals with integrating a store onto an aircraft is to ensure that it's safe. Don't put the crew that's operating the platform at risk. And that task of ensuring that it's a safe integration is a cumbersome task. It can become burdensome for a single SMME to take that on their own. But with the CSIR, we have extensive resources and capabilities that can assist any party that's trying to do that.
Another small engineering firm, Midnight Aerospace Solutions, partnered with the CSIR to overcome challenges.
One of the major challenges is getting out there and getting such big contracts just on your own, whereas having a large organization such as CSIR, it also helps with that branding to say that, you know what, we have the support and the trust of such an organization. And with the collaboration with them, we're able to produce something much more valuable and much more unique, catered to the user's needs.
The CSIR has a particular interest in developing SMMEs in the aerospace sector. The organization has significant capabilities in this field, and it's mandated to share these capabilities and grow the sector.
Molecular biology looks at how different molecules, DNA, RNA, and proteins interact with each other and mechanisms that they are involved in cells. So typically, a molecular biologist on a day-to-day would be growing plants or bacteria or human cells and trying to understand how these molecules are responding to different stimuli in the environment, or induced, for example, drugs that we use in our projects to try and understand how cancer cells are responding to different drugs that are given to patients. The projects that we're working on at the moment are focused in blood and ovarian cancers, specifically uterine and ovarian cancer for the gynecological cancers, that is, cancers that occur in women. We're trying to understand how patients who are either resistant to treatment or have relapsed and have run out of options can find FDA-approved therapies that could be administered from them. So We look at how a specific patient would respond to drugs from a library that we have of about 700 drugs, and then compare that to what the patient has already been administered to try and see if other options can be made available to that specific patient. What excites me about this career path is in the projects that we're doing, we are able to discover drugs that could provide other options for patients who are either resistant or have run out of options for their treatment. And especially among our African patients, we find a lot of drug resistance or relapse at advanced cancer stages, because most of them present when it's very late in their diagnosis. And so just being able to provide options for them would provide better prognosis for these people who are really ill. In this career path, I find that because we work with a lot of collaborators and hospitals, different labs and offices, one has to be a team player, and also one needs to be able to manage their time well. You find that we're collecting samples from the hospital and then we bring them to the lab. We're also working in office spaces, so you also need to be able to communicate very well. The hard skills that one would require, because these are very precious samples that we work with, patients who are resistant to drugs or have relapsed, one has to pay great attention to detail in the work and the experiments that they do in the lab. You have to be meticulous about how you handle yourself with those samples, because it's likely that you're never going to see that sample again. The future of precision medicine is evolving quite rapidly. A lot of new technologies are becoming available to the researcher in terms of things like genome sequencing and high throughput platforms that are available to us. And these technologies give us deeper insights into understanding how patients can be treated or diagnosed. So I see the future providing earlier diagnosis and better treatments for patients who are in dire need of these options.
8 out of 10 foundation phase children cannot read for basic meaning in their home language. So literacy is a bit of a crisis in South Africa, and we need scalable and reliable solutions. Language technology could potentially help relieve that problem, and we've decided to apply our technology in this domain to solve some of that. Peladi Nakene is in Mamelodi, so it's close to the CSIR, and we've been piloting at the school since the beginning of this year.
Ke khonne ge ba fitla mo Peladi ke khonno lemoga gore di tablet tse ba re tliseditseng tsona di khona go thoma ka modumo ngwana o khona go tseba ge mmotsa gore khotla modumo wa a wa khotla modumo wa a e khona go dira gore ngwana a lemoge gore le ntšule ke le beile mo le lokile go ba aowa.
Because it's important to understand whether this application is actually working for them. It doesn't help us if we develop technology and in principle or in theory it could work, but it doesn't really translate to the real world. So we brought the tablets here so that the kids can actually use the application and she can tell us how it's been going and whether it's been working for her or not. Also, her feedback in terms of what's not working is really valuable because that allows us to improve what we do. So we've used picture dictionaries from the lexicography units of South Africa to develop the words that are in the application, and we use our natural language technology to generate sentences using those words that are grammatically correct and make sense.
I-automatic speech recognition wenza ukuthi umuntu ekwazi ukufunda igama elibhaliwe bese umshini uyakwazi ukulifunda njengoba linjalo bese ulisende ku back end bese liyascore kunikeza score ukuthi wenze kahle noma wenze kabi.
The application has a few different kinds of activities, and it's been gamified to some degree to encourage learners to engage with the content. So they can listen to automatically generated speech in 2 of the languages. So either that would be their home language or the target language, which in this case would be English. Sometimes they listen to Sepedi and they have to reconstruct in Sepedi. That's simply just listening and reading. But there's also the meaning component where they have to listen to maybe a Sepedi sentence, understand it, and then also understand the English words that are popping up that they need to reconstruct the translation, or the other way around.
Ke mo modi o thomang ko teng wa go ruta bana mo ho baleng di tablet tse di thusa bana ba rena gore di thoma ka re thoma go ba ruta ka medumo gobane he ngwana a tseba modumo o tlo khona go bopa mantšu go ba kaone gore a khone go ba bobebe mo go yena gore a khone go bopa mantšu ga bopile mantšu o khona go bopa mafokwana ale a khone go mo thuša gore a bope mafoko a matelele a kwishisagalang a na leng matlakogedi.
And lokho ngibona kuyigebe elikhulu noma there's a big gap kumele siyivale ngalokho. And lama tools sesiwakhandile ngiyakwazi ukuthi siwa deploy bese bayasebenzisa emaklasini ekwazi ukuyehlisa le gebe elikhona.
We are currently in the third year of a 3-year project that is sponsored by the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture towards this literacy development support. So we are hoping to make a difference in South Africa in this literacy space, and we've chosen a few languages to start off this project with, but we are really hoping to get more funding so that we can roll this out to more languages and more schools, because we really think that our technology could potentially make a difference in this very important and strategic issue of foundation phase literacy in mother tongue education.
Re leboga ba CSIR gore ba tlile ba tlo re bontsha gore ga se ka puku fela le technology ya khona go ruta ngwana go bala le go ngwala le go kwishisha.
Welcome back to our Career Corner, and this is our last round. We are wrapping it up, but we won't just leave you hanging. We'll tell you more about the opportunities offered at the CSIR. I have my two guests here who are going to tell us more about that. Could you please introduce yourselves, which department you belong to, and what you do at the CSIR?
All right. Thank you so much, and afternoon to everyone who's watching. My name is Justice Komani, and I currently work as a graduate development coordinator here at the CSIR at the Pretoria campus, and I work under the Learning Capability Development and Corporate Social Investment Office. And my role at the CSIR is pretty nice and interesting. So I oversee a number of graduate development programs, which includes, bursary opportunities for young individuals so that, looking at, studying, science, engineering, technology, and mathematics-related, courses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, my name is Lobola Mokhoto, and I work for the Department of Defense Landward Sciences in particular, and I am currently a graduate in training. I just started this year. I'm transitioning from being a student to being a worker here at the CSIR.
Well, welcome to the working world. I hope you do have fun and enjoy it. Now, just as you mentioned bursary opportunities, please tell us more about that.
All right. Thank you so much, Abipelo. So our call for applications for 2026 bursaries is currently opened and is closing on the 29th of August, which is this month. All applications submitted online, and we shared the call with all the universities and also on all our social media pages. So it can be Instagram, LinkedIn and Twitter. The calls are available there. So the areas that we are currently funding listed on the call. So we don't really fund, all areas, all STEMI areas, but we really focus on areas that are deemed a priority by the organization. So basically, we engage the business in terms of what is then required at the CSIR, and then we advertise for those areas.
All right, thank you so much. Now, Lubone, you did say you are a graduate in training. So as a CSIR bursar, right? How did you learn about the CSIR bursary, and how did you get to now being a graduate in training, a graduate trainee at the CSIR?
Oh, well, I first learned about the CSIR bursary program through my school. So I was doing first year at WITS, and they sent out communications that the CSIR bursary program was open for applications. Yeah. So during that year I applied, and then they started funding me from second year. Yeah. And I became a graduate in training this year. So like when you're part of the bursary program during your last years of study, they will ask you whether or not you'd like to work or continue your studies. And then once you're ready to enter the working environment, you communicate with them, and then they'll place you in the appropriate department in relation to whatever field you are studying in.
Thank you so much for that information. For you, our viewers at home, we've delved into the different career options that are at the CSIR and the cool projects that our scientists and researchers and all the professionals are venturing into. And we hope that you are left inspired. And now that you have all this information and the bursary program information as well, you'll go ahead and apply. Remember, the closing date is on the 29th of August, 2025. Please check it out on all our social platforms and our website. Thank you so much for joining us, and keep us engaged. Thank you.